What's up guys, Bryce here, and we're back at it again for another video. It's been a while, but we are back with another iRacing video. We're here in the HPD, the prototype challenge in iRacing. They brought this car back, and I'm very excited to be driving it at Road Atlanta. So this is the first race that I've done in quite a while now, maybe a couple months, but qualified P2 on the grid, few tenths off of pole, and feels really good to be back. Feels good to be back in iRacing, back making videos, and I'm really excited for what this year will hold. Gonna be posting a few follow-up update videos as well for what has happened recently last year. But without further ado, let's get started with this race. So again, P2, very tricky qualifying. First race in a while, so definitely was a bit nervous at the start to see kind of if I was gonna be able to take the lead going into turn one or if I was gonna concede the position. But qualifying was tricky. The setup I'm currently running is really quick on the straights. I'm running very low wing, so on the straights we really had good top speed, but in the first sector in the corners we were a bit off the pace. So race gets underway and car in front gets a pretty good launch off the line, and we're not really able to do anything. So again, through here, first lap, really what the focus is to try and just get the tires kind of up to pressure and up to temperature. And you can see P1 has already pulled a pretty decent gap. It's like 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds now. And I'm already getting a little bit nervous because I don't want to lose the slipstream in front, because once I lose the slipstream in front, it's going to be difficult to pass him. So as you can see here, we have a horde of cars behind me, and first race in a while. So really the goal here was just get into a groove after the first lap. But it was tricky because after I kind of got past the chicane here and I realized that tires are feeling good, cars feeling good, I realized that in order to pass this guy, I kind of had to start pushing more, and I didn't know, and I wasn't really that comfortable pushing as hard as I could, because I also want to finish the race and not crash out of the race. So as you can see, going into turn one, we gained a little bit, but through this first sector, through the S's, through the right-hander, slightly miss the apex curb. I just don't have the grip to really keep up here, especially through this left-hander here. You can see the gap just kind of pulls away, and the rear end is a little bit swirly, again because I'm running super low downforce. But then coming out of this corner here, we do get a pretty good run on him, and you can see the gap slowly close up at the end of the straight, and I can definitely tell I was gaining here. You can see ever so slightly. We're gaining towards the end of the straight, but then hard into the braking zone, we just obviously are way too far back to make a move. So it's really about maintaining pressure. He's really trying to think about where his weaknesses were, and really they were going into the chicane, but we weren't close enough, and here we're ever so slightly closer into turn one. But again, a little bit with the dirty air as well, we just don't have the pace to really close the gap in this first sector, just due to the downforce, and yeah, just not quick enough through here to really do anything. And especially this left-hander here, I was being extremely careful, shifting down just into second gear because I just had no rotation there. And same thing in this corner a little bit. You can see I drift wide of the apex, but again, on the exit, going down the straight, this is where we really just gain on him. So at this point in the race, I'm kind of thinking, okay, we know we're close here, so let's try to get as close as we can going down this back straight, but it just didn't really work the way I wanted to because I just didn't have the pace through the S's. Still a little bit closer here, but I still just can't get really any closer to him. And you can see the field is slowly starting to spread out. The guy behind wasn't putting much pressure on me at all. He was pretty far back. So yeah, it's been a little while since I posted a video on here. If you're new here, welcome. If you've known me for a while, you would have known about the driver shootout, where I had a chance to race in real life for the first time, and a video on the 23 shootout will be coming out soon, along with my website. I'm going to be putting press releases on there as well. And you can see we're starting to flash a little bit, and this is just me trying to distract him, trying to annoy him a little bit, because I knew that at this point in the race I just didn't have the pace to kind of catch him. In the cockpit here, and this car is a really fun car. It was a very early released car in iRacing. They took it out and then they just added it back coming into 2024, and I'm really happy about it. It's pretty much a radical on steroids essentially, and I really love high downforce light cars. So this car is not crazy high downforce, but it is very light, which means you really can just throw into corners. You drive it very similarly to a open wheel car, and that's what I just love about this car. And just a lot of fun. Very challenging, of course. Difficult to drive on the limit. It's not forgiving at all, not friendly, but just did the best I could, and the gap behind didn't close that much. I wasn't too worried about that, but again, we're really just trying to stay close to this guy in front of us and just hope that he makes a mistake, or wait for the tires to start to fall off, and hopefully we can close the gap when that starts to happen, or push a bit more, which is high risk and potentially high reward, depending if we can even push enough to close that gap in front. So this is coming up to the start of the lap, where we have a back marker from another class, because this is multi-class, and he's coming across the start-finish line. You can see him up in the distance. So I knew here that approaching the slower class, that this could be an opportunity to pounce. So going up the first hill and approaching the S's, go for the move on the inside, saw a space there, and unfortunately we tapped the guy on the right, which was completely my fault. It was a really close incident there, so we'll go back and play that here. Little gap on the inside, probably a little ambitious, but I didn't realize how much space I had on the right, and that caused us to go into the back marker. Fortunately, wasn't the leader, but still was unintentional. But I had to move forward from that, and we are much closer now because of that back marker. So I focus on just getting a smooth exit, not necessarily getting on the throttle sooner, but just being as smooth as possible. And because I knew I had the speed on the straight, so it was going to be a pretty easy move once I realized that I had much more speed. So I just flew by him, almost like I had DRS. But again, the wing on the setup was pretty low, so I had low drag, and I was really able to get past him. I was a bit worried because he was pretty quick, so I was kind of worried about would he be able to catch up to me in the next laps. And you can see we already pulled a pretty decent gap for just passing him. He's about half a second behind, and I think that pass really just kind of worked out well. And we have a little back marker here, make sure to get by him safely, but we get that pass done, and we're up into the lead of the race, and you can see there we've already pulled 1 second gap. So now it's just about maintaining. Pretty long race, half-hour race. So we have a little bit left to go. So from here on out, it's really just about maintaining that gap. So we're riding on board with the car that I passed. There's me up ahead getting past a back marker, and this was interesting to see in my rearview mirror, but he just goes into the back of the back marker, which of course was good for me because he had damage. I wouldn't have to worry about him trying to catch me. But now we had a new threat, the guy who was in P3, and he was pretty quick, and he definitely had the pace on me during this race, pretty quick. So you can see here he's just carrying much more speed on the exit curve there and through the S's, and this meant that this race was far from over. So his point of view, obviously, there's me up in front, and you could just tell that from the corners he had a bit more downforce, and he was really able to utilize that and get quite a bit closer and even put some pressure on me during this race. So we have about 10 minutes to go in this race, and he is keeping with me. I wasn't able to pull away. I really just didn't have the speed, but you can see how close he gets in the turns, and we have a back marker here, and this really slowed me down a lot. So again, just wanted to be safe, wanted to finish the race, but you can see just how much closer he is, and definitely putting pressure on me. I couldn't really do anything. I kind of just had to stay where I was. Here I almost defended the inside, but I didn't. Stayed on the line, and you'll see here he's gonna get pretty close through here, but you can see I'm just carrying much more speed through the exit and onto this back straight. Even with the slipstream, I'm still able to pull away on the straight ever so slightly. I definitely do enjoy making these videos of all my races. Kind of want to do videos on every race, even if it doesn't go so well. So this would be the first one in a while, which turned out in my favor. You can see we've got like a second gap already. You can see P2 and P3 are having their own little fight here, so that kind of allows me to get a bit further up the road. So this lap here is probably the closest that he got in this race to passing me. So again, going through first few corners, he gets very close to me, and again going through the S's, he gets close and got a really good run in there. I'm just not fast. Again, I think at this point in the race I was really struggling for tires and grip, and the car just wouldn't want to turn. You can see just how close he is here, and he moves to the outside of the track. Kind of an interesting place to put the car, and then he tries to go for the move but doesn't fully commit, so that it really screws up his line for the straight, and then I'm really just able to pull away. So we're just going to go back here and look at that again from a different camera angle. I think if I was in his shoes, probably would have just stayed behind and try to get a good run onto the straight, because here he wasn't going to pass, but again, by not fully committing to the pass on the inside, kind of ruin the exit, and then that also allows the car behind to get a bit closer. So this is a pretty sketchy moment with a back marker. Almost lost the race here, but a little bit of a weird one. I think he expected me to go around the outside there. So we are approaching the last lap of the race, and car behind P2 was able to get closer, and I had a back marker in front of me, so I knew last lap of the race I really have to be careful to where I pass this guy so I don't lose too much time. But I think we got past him without too many issues. So we got him in a pretty good spot right before the right-hander, so I really can get the line. But yeah, I was really able to just keep the pace and didn't lose the race and didn't crash, which was good. Wish the race was a bit more entertaining for the video, but yeah, it was a fun race, and this car is a lot of fun. Definitely not fun one. You make mistakes in it, but decent race. I think the race pace could have been better. Really struggled with sort of the low downforce setup in the race. Didn't have a lot of grip in the corners, but on the straights, that's kind of where it counted. But approaching the line, and that is going to be it for this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, leave a like down below. Look forward to some more content in 2024 and just more news and updates from me. And stay tuned for some more content that I'm pretty excited to be releasing. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.